Want to talk to you about one subject in particular, scanning. And what I want to talk to you about it is something that I've seen on the bulletin boards and stuff and everything, which I just find infuriating. Stuff on various scanning related bulletin boards and everything, you see people complaining about the industry's tendency to go to encryption, the steady creep of encryption into public service communications and stuff, and who's to blame, who caused it, what's causing it, what's the future, and everything else. And I just find it stupid. The whole conversation is an utter waste of time. One simple reason, well, there's a couple of simple reasons, and I'll go over them. The first simple reason is public service communications and two-way radio and stuff draws heavily off of the IT industry anymore. And one of the big things in the IT industry is encryption and privacy. So even if none of these scanners, whole scanning industry and everything didn't even exist, then you'd still have people in the industry pushing for the idea of encryption and the benefits it would bring to the industry. And so you'd still have some pressures pushing it, even if scanning and all that didn't even exist. But that's all beside the point, in my opinion. For one simple basic reason, which is technology progresses. Things move from one year to the next. Like these old scanners here. This one even still works. An old 4-channel crystal controlled, and even before that you had the old single channel monitor radios with squelch. VHF could cover 152 to 174 megahertz, and then you come out with the programmable PLL operated scanners, multi-channel, and then of course all the way to 3 and 4 band ones that cover the 800 megahertz and stuff. Things progress over the years, like public service radio. If you look back through the history, it wasn't on VHF or even VHF low and stuff at first. If you look at the old Philco radios, shortwave radios, and Zenith radios and everything, you see a label on them for public service 9 for police or aircraft or whatever, because police communications was down in the HF range. Then they moved up to the VHF low, then up to VHF high, then to UHF. Now they're at 800 megahertz. Just because it got to 800 megahertz doesn't mean they're going to stop there. They'll keep working on up in frequency, and the technology that they use to communicate is going to change. Right now, things like scanners and stuff can receive it, because a single channel broadcast style operation where the dispatch or repeater or whatever broadcasts the same message to all locations, because they don't know where the people they're talking to is. But the coming generations of public service and LMR, even if you're calling LMR land mobile radio or not, will be up for discussion. But coming technologies, that is probably going to change, especially if you go to digitized, packetized communications, because the people that they're talking to, the location is going to be tracked, and the individual broadcasts are going to be targeted to the people listening, and the people broadcasting is going to be going into a fully closed loop, fully, how do I say this here? Basically, fully encompassing system that is not going to have any one point in it, any one area in geography that you can put a receiver and receive all the communications going on, because the only time it's going to transmit a message or a communication, a call, is when the radio itself, it's listening to that channel, is within range, kind of like cellular communications. So at a certain point, the whole ability to scan a radio system and listening to all the activity that's going on in the neighborhood is going to become impossible with coming technology. Even if you had radios that could break down the data flow, select the packets, sort them out, and replay the audio, which would be highly questionable, especially with the next generation long-term evolution communications strategies and technology they're working on finalizing and implementing and stuff. So even if encryption and everything was even a non-issue, which in my opinion it is a non-issue, and sooner or later it's going to reach a point where the whole concept of scanning is going to become non-workable, obsolete, or left in the dust. Now there'll still be programmable radio receivers like this, and they'll still have uses for receiving the stuff that still remains on the lower VHF, UHF frequencies, but for public service. Now it's going to progress to something totally different, that scanning will not even be, as I said, a functioning issue anymore, or the lack thereof. Just the same as technology left this radio here in the dust with nothing to receive but static. Same thing will leave these radios in the dust, or whatever scanner you can receive. All you'll be left to hear is the people that happen to be left behind, the Bofang radio operators, the FRS operators, and the hams and stuff that may be left behind in the dust pile of radio history. Take care.